The room was dimly lit, the soft glow of a single lamp casting long shadows across the walls. The air was thick with the scent of lavender and something more electric, something that hinted at the warmth of skin against skin and the hush of unspoken desires. Alex, the boyfriend, sat on the edge of the bed, his fingers tracing patterns on the fabric of Jamie's sweater. Jamie, the girlfriend, leaned against the headboard, her eyes half-lidded as she watched Alex's movements. "You're staring at me like I'm a mystery you need to solve," Jamie said, her voice a mix of teasing and vulnerability. Alex smiled, his gaze never leaving her. "I've been trying to solve you for years. Tonight, I think I've finally cracked the code." Jamie's lips parted slightly, a soft giggle escaping her. "You're gonna have to do better than that. I'm not just some puzzle to be unraveled. Maybe you're the only one I want to unravel," Alex replied, his voice low. He stood, his shadows stretching across the floor, and pulled Jamie into his arms, her body pressed against his, the heat of her breath mingling with his. Alex's hands moved up her sweater, his fingers brushing against the soft skin of her shoulders. Jamie let out a sigh, her body melting into his embrace. The silence between them was charged, each moment stretching like a slow-motion scene in a movie. "You're so good at this," Jamie whispered, her fingers tangling in his hair. "I can't remember the last time I felt this way." Alex's lips found hers, a slow and deliberate kiss that sent waves of warmth through her. She kissed back, her tongue teasing the edge of his mouth before slipping inside. The kiss deepened, their bodies moving closer, the world outside fading into a distant hum. "Remember when we first met?" Alex broke the kiss, his lips hovering just above hers. "You were in that cafe, sipping coffee like it was the last thing on earth. I thought you were too cool for school, but now I know you're just perfect." Jamie laughed, a sound that was both a confession and a challenge. "You were the one who spilled your coffee on my shirt. I still have the stain. I still have the memory of you laughing at me. That's the thing about you, Jamie. You make even the worst mistakes feel like a masterpiece." Jamie's sweater was off in seconds, her arms lifting as Alex's hands moved to her back. The fabric pooled around her waist, and she shivered at the cool air against her skin. Alex's lips found the curve of her neck, his kisses trailing down her collarbone as she arched into him. "Do you want me to stop?" he asked, his voice a low rumble. Jamie shook her head, her fingers undoing his buttons of his shirt. "No, I want you to keep going." He peeled it off, revealing the top muscles of his chest. Jamie's eyes traced the contours, her fingers brushing against his skin as she leaned in to kiss him again. This time, it was deeper, more urgent, as if they were both trying to memorize every sensation. "You're so intense," Jamie murmured, her breath catching as Alex's hands moved to her hips. "I feel like I'm in a dream." "Dreams are just reality with a little less restraint," Alex replied, his lips brushing against hers. "Tonight, I'm not holding back." The room felt like a sanctuary, a place where time stood still, and the only thing that mattered was the connection between them. Jamie sat on the edge of the bed, her legs slightly apart as Alex hovered over her. The air between them was thick with anticipation, each breath a promise of what was to come. "Let me take you somewhere," Alex said, his voice steady but filled with something raw. Jamie nodded, her hands gripping the edge of the bed as he moved closer. His lips found hers again, this time with a hunger that made her heart race. She pulled him down, their bodies pressing together as the kiss became a feverish exchange of tongues and teeth. Alex's hands moved down her back, unbuttoning his jeans as Jamie's fingers found the hem of his boxers. The fabric was soft against her skin, and she traced the curve of his waist, her touch lingering just a second too long. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice a mix of confidence and uncertainty. Jamie looked up at him, her eyes dark with desire. "I've never been more sure." With that, she pulled his boxers down, and he stepped out of them, his body bare and ready. She reached for him, her fingers curling around his arm as he guided her onto the bed. The sheets felt cool against her skin, but the warmth of his body was all that mattered. Their bodies moved in sync, a dance of touch and heat that spoke louder than words. Jamie's hands moved up his back, her nails tracing the ridges of his spine as he kissed down her neck, his lips finding the pulse point just below her ear. She gasped, her body arching into him, her fingers tangling in his hair. "Do you feel that?" Alex whispered, his lips brushing against her skin. "That's your heartbeat, Jamie. It's like it's trying to escape." Jamie laughed, a soft, breathless sound. "It's not escaping. It's just trying to keep up with you." He kissed her again, this time with a slow and deliberate rhythm that made her feel every inch of him. Her hands moved to her thighs, her fingers spreading her legs as he pressed closer. The sensation connection was overwhelming, a mix of vulnerability and power that made her feel both safe and wild. "You're so perfect," Jamie said, her voice trembling. Alex's lips found hers once more, his kiss a promise of something eternal.